Hi guys, welcome back. In the last session, we are able to understand what is Jenkins, why we need to go for Jenkins, okay, and how to set up Jenkins in our machine, and how to create the first job by using Jenkins. Are you guys able to set up Jenkins in your machine? Are you able to install and access Jenkins?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Fine guys, good now. So let's understand how to create our second job by using Jenkins. In this second job, so I want to integrate Git and Maven with the Jenkins. Now we know that already GitHub is a repository where our project source code will be available. GitHub repo. In GitHub repo, we have project. Now I want to clone that project and I want to build that project by using Maven. Earlier, we have done this process manually. Now I want to automate this process by using Jenkins. Now, so here my Jenkins tool will be available. Here Jenkins tool will be available. Jenkins will communicate with the GitHub repository and Jenkins will clone that repository by using Git client software. So to clone that repository, we need Git client. Jenkins will use Git client and Jenkins will clone our GitHub repository. After cloning that, I want Jenkins to communicate with Maven and I want to perform build process of our application. So what is the meaning of build process? Compile the project and package the project as a jar file or war file. I want to do the Maven build. Once this Maven build is completed successfully, then I want to deploy that application into my Tomcat server. Assume that in this project, Docker and Kubernetes is not available. So I want to take a Maven build. Once the Maven build got a success, now I want to deploy that application into Tomcat server. I want to automate this process, taking the code from the GitHub and packaging that, building that code by using Maven and deploying that code into Tomcat server. So I want to set up this job by using Jenkins. So Jenkins is a open source CI/CD software which is used to automate build process of our application. All right, now here let us go and check the steps that we need to follow in order to complete this process. Jenkins job with the GitHub repository plus Maven integration. So prerequisites, Java should be available, Maven should be available, and Git client should be available. So in which machine our Jenkins is running, let us connect it to that machine. So in this machine, my Jenkins server is running. So in the AWS, we have started our Jenkins machine. Jenkins VM is available. That Jenkins VM is running. That means in that machine, Jenkins server is running. Let us access the Jenkins server in the browser. Take its public IP and go to public IP colon 8080. So it will open Jenkins page. We are able to access that. We created admin account in the Jenkins. Let's connect it to that. Yep, sign in. We are able to connect with that. Jenkins jobs are available. Now let me create another Jenkins job, which is used to automate the build and deployment process. So in this machine, let us check Java is available or not. Java -version. So Java is already installed because Jenkins is developed using Java. To install the Jenkins, Java software is mandatory. In this machine, Java software got installed and it is working. And let us verify Maven is working or not. Maven version. So Maven is not available. Let us verify Git version. Git version is available or not. Git is also not available. Git is also not available. Git -version. Git is available. Now see here, Git version 2.25 is available. Maven is not available. Java is available in our machine. In order to create this Jenkins job, Java, Maven, and Git client is required. Git is already installed. If Git is not available in your machine, then you can go and execute this command. Sudo apt git install, sudo apt get install y. Now, so Git software is already installed. Now, Maven is not available. Maven can be installed in two ways, guys. Directly, we can install the Maven in this machine, or we can install the Maven as a plugin, global tool configuration. So Maven installation in the Jenkins, right? Go to Jenkins dashboard, go to manage Jenkins, global tools configurations, and add the Maven. Now go here, manage Jenkins. So when you go for manage Jenkins, there is an option called global tools configuration. Click on global tools configuration. In this global tools configuration, you can configure JDK, you can configure Git, and you can configure Maven. So I want to configure Maven. See here. So I'm in the Jenkins dashboard. In the Jenkins dashboard, there is an option called manage Jenkins. Click on the manage Jenkins, then go to global tool configuration. In the global tool configuration, if you want to use different versions of Java for different projects, then you can add the JDK, which version of JDK you want to install, which version of the Git that you want to install, which version of the Gradle you want, which version of the Maven you want. Add the Maven. So let me give Maven 3.91 is the latest version. Now let me give it as Maven 3.9.1. I want Jenkins to install the Maven. I want Jenkins to install the Maven. Click on apply and click on save. I configured Apache Maven in the Jenkins as a global tool. So with this, the prerequisites are ready. Java is available, Maven is available, and Git client is also available. Now these are my GitHub repository URLs. Java web applications are available here. Now I want to build that Java web application by using Jenkins. Okay, so how we are going to create this job? Steps to create the Jenkins job with the GitHub repository. Step-by-step options that I have given, and you can verify that. Okay, guys. Now see here. First, we need to connect with the EC2 instance in which Jenkins server got installed. Already we connected to that machine. Once we have connected to that machine, start the Jenkins server. My Jenkins server is already up and running. My Jenkins server is already up and running. I'm able to access my Jenkins. So these are the jobs that I created yesterday. Now we need to create a Jenkins job with a GitHub repository, right? So now let us go here and let us execute all these things. So first, let's go to our new item, and here I'm writing job 3. I'm writing job 3. So in this job 3, I'm going to use as freestyle project. Click on OK. So now here it is asking description. This is used to clone and package our Java application. In my GitHub repository, Java application is available. I want to clone and I want to package that Java application. Go to source code management. Yes, my code is available in the GitHub repository. So you can see the GitHub repositories I have given. Java, Maven, web app. If you open this URL, you can see my Java Maven web application will be available in the GitHub repository. Got it? Now, fine. Let me take this Git and let me configure repository URL. So this is my GitHub repository URL. It is a public repository only. So no need to give the credentials of the repository. As it is a public repository, no need to give the credentials. Now, branch name. What is the branch name available in the repository? Here I have a branch, one branch. The branch name is master only. So I'm giving the master branch. If you have the branch as a main, that branch name you have to give. That means in the repository, multiple branches will be available. From which branch you want to take the code for the deployment that you need to configure. So branch name I am giving as master. Then go to build triggers. So when you want to trigger this build, I want to trigger this build manually. So I'm not selecting any option. Build environment also, I'm not selecting anything for the build environment. Build step. So what is the build step? I want to execute top level Maven targets. I want to execute Maven goal because it is a Maven application. I want to execute Maven goal. For that, go for build step, invoke top level Maven targets. Which version of the Maven? Maven already configured as a global tool. So it is giving that Maven version. I configured 3.9.1. Select that. What are the goals you want to execute? I want to execute goal clean package. So delete the target folder and execute the package goal. So that project will be packaged as a WAR file because it is a web application. Once the build step configured as a clean package, post build action. What do you want to do as a post build? Do you want to build other job? Do you want to send an email? And do you want to delete the workspace when the build is done? So what option, what you want to perform, that can be done by using post build. I'm not configuring anything. Click on apply, click on save. With this, my job 3 got created. If you want to change anything in the job 3, then you can go for configure option. In the configure option, we have chance to edit our job configuration, right? So general, I have given, this is used to clone and package our Java application. Source code management. So where is your code? That Git repository URL I have given, and in that repository, which branch you want to take, I have given. If you remember, credentials I'm not giving here because it is a public repository. No need to give the credential. Build trigger. When this build should be triggered, I'm not configuring anything. That means manually I will trigger this build. And go to build environment. I'm not giving anything. Build step. I have given invoke top level Maven targets. So which version of the Maven? Maven already configured as a global tool. So I'm selecting the version of the Maven. I have given the goal as clean package. Post build action. I have not configured anything. Click on apply, click on save. All the steps I have given here, guys. So go to enter some description, go to freestyle project, go to source code management, enter project GitHub URL, add your GitHub account credential. Currently, it is not required for us because it is a public repository. Go to build tab, click on the build step and invoke top level Maven targets, right? Select the Maven, enter the goals as clean package, apply and save. So with the above steps, we have created our Jenkins job. Once the Jenkins job is created, let us click on build now. When you click on build now, the Jenkins job will execute. Now here Jenkins job is getting executed. Go to console output. You can see all the steps that are performing by our job. So now first time we are doing a Maven build in our application. So it will download a lot of dependencies that are related to Maven. So my project is Java Maven web application. So what all the dependencies that are required for this application will be downloaded by our Jenkins. So once it has downloaded all the dependencies, then it will clean and package. Here if you see, the build is failed. The build is failed. The build failure is available. It is saying that failure. Why it is failure? There is an issue in the code. Now, so Java demo domain user.java, it is saying that package does not exist. Domain user.java, in that repository, code issue is available. Compilation issue is available and that build got failed. So whenever that compilation issue occurs, is it responsibility of the DevOps people to fix that, or it is the responsibility of developers to fix that issue? Is it responsibility of the DevOps engineers, or is it responsibility of the developers to fix this? Compilation error, code is not able to compile. Then what is the duty of the DevOps engineers? DevOps engineers will take the screenshot, will send the email to the development team, build failure. Why it is failure? Compilation error. Code is not able to compile. Then developers will go to that class and developers will fix that issue. So let me go there and let me fix that issue. src main Java domain user.java. So here some code is available that is not working. Okay. Remove these things. Yeah. Commit the changes. I made the code changes. Whatever the issue is available, I have rectified that issue and code committed to GitHub repository. And here also I need to make some code changes. Done. Now let me try to execute my Jenkins job once again. In the first execution that got failed. Now because the code issue is available. Now I have corrected that. Let's try to do this. Go to job 3. First time when I executed the job, it got failed because of code compilation. Now click on build now. Second time it is trying to execute. Go to console output. Now check this. It is downloading all the things that are required for our application compilation and application packaging. It is trying to build a WAR file for our application. It is trying to build a WAR file for our application. Now, if you see from the starting the console output, so no credentials specified, Git tool is none. Directly it has cloned the Git repository. Once it cloned the Git repository, it is trying to build the project. Clean goal I have given. It is deleting the target directory. Then it started compiling our files. It downloaded all the required Maven dependencies and it is doing the Maven build. We have given two goals, clean and package. Clean means delete the target directory and package means package our application as a jar file or WAR file. As it is a web application, it has to package that application as a WAR file. Now, still it is doing the build. Still the packaging, the web application is in progress. Building the WAR file. Still it is in progress, guys. Is taking time to do the package. Should not take this much time. Job 2. Maybe system got a hang. Guys, system got hang. The reason we are using T2 micro, it is having just 1 GB RAM. So that's why the process is very slow here. Let me stop this job. It got hang. So if we take T2 medium, that would be good because 4 GB RAM will be available, but we have taken T2 micro. So this is taking a lot of time. And the Jenkins is not responding. Yeah, my Jenkins is not responding. It got stuck. I think we need to stop this, restart it, stop the instance. Guess the problem, the machine is T2 micro, so it is having only 1 GB RAM. So today I will come up with the T2 medium instance. After the class completed, I will take one more machine. I will install the Jenkins in that because with this memory, it is difficult to run our jobs. It is taking a lot of time. Jenkins server is getting stopped. I will create one more machine. In that machine, I will install my Jenkins. It is in the still stopping mode. Instance type, we are unable to change once the instance got created. We use a T2 micro, it will give only 1 GB RAM. Because of that, the system is very slow. We need to go for a medium instance, at least we'll get 4 GB RAM. Let's wait for the instance to be stopped completely. Yes, Jenkins server, it got stopped. Actions. Change instance type from T2 micro. Let me go for T2 medium. Once instance got stopped, I'm trying to change the instance type, guys. From T2 micro, I will go for T2 medium so that 4 GB RAM will be available. It is commercial, but no option. T2 medium. Yes. T2 medium I have taken. Current is T2 micro and I have taken T2 medium. Apply that. I have changed the instance type from T2 micro to T2 medium. Micro will give only 1 GB. Medium will give 4 GB of RAM. Now, instance type change it to medium. Let me start this instance now. I have started. Let's wait. The instance should come to running state. After instance got stopped, I'm able to change the instance type. Earlier we have used micro. Now I changed it from micro to medium. T2 medium instance. Now let's verify. The instance is getting started. Take its public IP. We need to reconnect to that machine because its IP got changed. Host, username is Ubuntu. Settings, private key. Give the PEM file. Click on OK. Perfect. Now, once it is done, let's verify the status of our Jenkins. Is our Jenkins up and running or not? Sudo systemctl status of Jenkins. Copy this command and check this. Yeah, Jenkins is active. It is up and running. Right. So let us go to browser and let us access our Jenkins dashboard. Go to browser and access our Jenkins dashboard. Take its public IP :8080 :8080. So with this, our Jenkins is running. Now let us take the username Ashok IT and password. Click on sign in. Yeah. So with this, I'm able to access my Jenkins. Let me delete this job. Delete it. Let me recreate the job, guys. Fine. Good. New item. Observe carefully. I'm taking this as Git Maven job. Git Maven integration job. I want to take the code from the GitHub and I want to package that code by using Maven. Git Maven integration job, freestyle project. Click on OK. So now here I'm trying to give this job is used to clone. This job is used to clone Git repo and build using Maven. This job is used to clone the Git repo and build using Maven. Source code management, give the GitHub repository URL. So now here I have given the Git repository URL. By using that Git repository URL, we can do that. Maven web application Git repository. Give the repository URL. So in that GitHub repository URL, we are having the branch name as a master, right? So Maven web application branch. What is the name of the branch? That branch name we have to give. By default, it is a master. Build trigger. I will trigger this build manually. Build environment. I'm not giving anything. We'll come to that later point of time. Build step. I want to execute top level Maven targets. Select the Maven which we configured. Goals. I want to execute clean and package goal. Post build action. I don't want to do anything. Click on apply. Click on save. Just basic job that we have created. Now Git Maven integration job is created. Configure is used to edit the job. Build now is used to run the job. Now click on build now. So when I click on the build now, you can see the build trigger will happen. Here the build one is getting executed. If you click on this build number, you will get the option to see the console output. How the build is getting executed, you can verify that. Now you see build got success. This time the build is executed successfully. So how can we say the build is executed successfully? We can see the war file is created under the target directory. That is the reason to say build got success. Now if you go here, the console output will tell you how the build got executed. First, it is going to clone the remote Git repository. Once the remote Git repository got cloned, now it is going to execute the build by using our pom.xml. We have given the two goals, clean package. Clean means deleting the target directory from the project. Package means it will compile the project and it will execute the test cases. Then it will execute the plugin to build jar or war. As it is a web application, it packaged our application as a war file. Now you can see the packaging got successful and you can see that war file got generated. Where that war file will be available, where lib Jenkins workspace, Git Maven integration job, target, war file is generated, the build got success. So first time it is downloading all the Maven related stuff. When I run the job second time, it will not take that much time because already Maven configuration got downloaded, which is required. Now let me execute the build now once again. I'm trying to execute this project build once again by using build now, right? Second time I'm doing the build. Go to the second number, see the console output. Very quickly, it completed the build process. Build got success. So first time it will take a lot of time because it has to download all the Maven related configuration to build our application. So it has cloning our Git repository. Once Git repository got cloned, then it will take clean package. Clean package is the goal that I have given to execute. So as part of the clean package, it is deleting the target directory. Then it is saying that compilation, no sources to compile because already they are compiled. Then packaging our web application. So web application is packaged as a war file. The war file will be available in the project target directory. Where the project available? So this is where lib Jenkins workspace directory. If you go to this workspace, our job will be available. In the job target folder, in the target folder, war file will be available. Let us go to where lib Jenkins workspace directory in our machine. CD space, where lib Jenkins workspace, ls-l. Here our Git Maven integration job is available. CD space, Git Maven integration job, ls-l. In this you can see target directory created. ls-l target. Now in that target directory, you can see war file got generated. So project is packaged. As it is a Maven web application, the packaging will be available as a war file. So with this, we are able to create a Jenkins job that is taking the code from the GitHub repository and it is doing Maven build. Now we need to deploy our war file into Tomcat server. So Tomcat is a web server which is used to run our Java web application. So in this machine, currently Tomcat server is not available. I need to create one more machine with the Tomcat server. I need to create one machine. In that machine, I need to install the Tomcat server. Then my Jenkins will take the code from the GitHub. It will build that code by using Maven. It will deploy that project into Tomcat server. So Jenkins will run in one machine, Tomcat server will run in another machine. So now we need to set up our Tomcat server. So to set up the Tomcat server, I have prepared one PDF. I will share that PDF now. Apache Tomcat server setup document is available. Apache Tomcat server setup document is available. So using that document, we need to set up the Apache Tomcat server in the Linux machine. So Apache Tomcat is a web server. We know all that process. Now we need to download the Apache Tomcat server in the machine. Okay, guys. Now, how we are going to download this Apache Tomcat server? First, let me take one EC2 instance. I need one EC2 instance, launch instance. So this machine, I'm giving the name as Tomcat server. I'm giving the name as Tomcat server. So I'm going with either Amazon Linux or Ubuntu. Anything is fine. So now I'm going with Ubuntu 20.04. Yes, T2 micro, key pair. Then existing security group, default security group I'm taking. Click on launch instance. So with this, my instance got created. In this instance, I need to install Tomcat server. Just I have taken one Linux machine. In this Linux machine, I need to install Apache Tomcat. How to install Apache Tomcat? That we have taken one document. In this document, the steps are available clearly. We need to install Java first because Tomcat is developed by using Java. First, you need to download Java software. First, we need to download Java software in that machine. Then we need to download Apache Tomcat. So this is all manual process. If you go for a Docker, all these things are not required. So Docker will provide all the softwares that are required. I will show you one example with the manual Tomcat. Then we will change this to Docker. If I have Docker, I no need to install this Java, Tomcat and all. So to avoid these software installations, Docker came into picture. Now, if I want to deploy my application in that machine, I need to install Java. Then I need to install Tomcat. Then I need to deploy my application to Tomcat. If you go for a Docker, the Java, Tomcat, everything will be taken care by Docker itself. Good. Now, my machine is started. Let me connect it to that machine. Let me connect to that machine. Take the public IP, session, SSH, remote host, username. It is a Ubuntu machine. Go for Ubuntu. Private key. Now take this PEM file. Click on OK. Yeah. Clear. Now first let me update sudo apt update. So existing packages I'm updating by using sudo apt update. Once it is done, I will install Java in this machine by using sudo apt install Java. Right, it updated that. First, let me install Java. Sudo apt install default JDK. Yes, I want to install them. I have taken one new machine. In that machine, I'm taking Java software. I'm installing Java. Once Java got installed, then we will go for Tomcat. Tomcat is a web server which is used to run the Java web application. To run the Tomcat, Java software is required. For DevOps people, already we have done this Tomcat setup in the Linux machine before starting the Docker. Again, I'm setting up the Tomcat server because I want to show you the deployment through Jenkins. Java software is getting installed. Once the Java setup is completed, then we need to download Apache Tomcat. By using wget command, we can download Apache Tomcat. Yeah, finally, Java got installed successfully. We can verify Java space hyphen version. Yes, with this, JDK 11 got installed. Then let us check ls-l. Currently in this directory, nothing is available. I need to install, I want to download Apache Tomcat. Here I have given wget command. Using this wget command, we can download Apache Tomcat. So it is, the link is not available. Let me go to Apache Tomcat website. Apache Tomcat download. Now go here in the Apache Tomcat downloads. Tar file is available. Right click on the tar file, copy link address. Then wget link address we are giving. So with this, we are able to download. Previous link is not working. That version got changed. So now the latest is 9.0.73 tar file. So with this, we have downloaded that Apache Tomcat. Let us extract this tar-xvf Apache. Yes, that tar file got extracted by using tar command. With this, we got Apache Tomcat. Once we got this Apache Tomcat file, we have extracted that by using tar command. Once it is done, in the Apache Tomcat, we need to change some settings. So what are the settings that we need to change? We need to go to Manager, Tomcat folder, Web Apps, Manager, meta-inf, context.xml. To deploy the applications into Tomcat server, we will change the host manager. So now we should go to the Tomcat directory, cd space Apache Tomcat. In that Web Apps, in that manager is available. In that manager, there is a file called context.xml file will be available in the meta-inf, cd space meta-inf. In the meta-inf, there is a file called context.xml, vi context.xml. In the vi context.xml, by default, this will allow to access the Tomcat server in the same machine, but I want to access this from outside. For that, let us change this allow attribute. I have given that here. We will change the allow attribute to .star. Now, so let us remove this property. Let us make the changes to that. .star will be available in the allow. Whatever the value is available, we will remove this value. Whatever the value available, we will remove this value. .star we are going to provide. Then save this file. That's it. Once that is completed, now we need to add the users in the Tomcat server. So who can access our Tomcat? The users should be added in the Tomcat server. For that, Tomcat users.xml file is available. Go to Tomcat folder, conf directory, add the Tomcat users.xml. Now come out from here. Now we are in the Tomcat directory. Now in the Tomcat directory, we can see that conf directory will be available. cd space conf directory. In the conf directory, we are having Tomcat users.xml. That means which users can access this Tomcat server that we are configuring by using users.xml. In the Tomcat users.xml, by default, users will not be available. Now we need to add the users. Now see here, guys, just above the end tag of the Tomcat users, we need to insert the Tomcat users here. Okay. So what users we are going to configure? Here I have given the users that we need to configure. Copy this and keep it here. So what users we want to add in the Tomcat users? I'm adding a Tomcat user, admin, username, password is also admin. I'm giving some roles. Manager script role is required when you want to deploy from Jenkins. Good. So once we have added these things, remember, this is in the commented mode. So we need to keep that just above the end tag of the Tomcat users. Tomcat users are configured. Now save this. Fine. With this, I have done two changes. One is in the manager context.xml, I changed this value to .star. And in the Tomcat users.xml, I have added my Tomcat users. Once the Tomcat users are added, then we can start the Tomcat server using sh startup.sh command. In the bin directory, the file will be available to start the Tomcat server. Now go for ls-l, bin directory available, cd space bin. In the bin directory, we have a command startup.sh. Startup.sh is used to start the Tomcat server in the Linux machine. If it is Windows, startup.bat will be available. So let me go here, sh space startup.sh. So with this, my Tomcat server started. Tomcat server will be running by default on the port number 8080. So let us go to this machine and go to security group, enable that security group 8080, edit the inbound rules. Now security group 8080 enable. Jenkins also will run on 8080. Tomcat server also will run on 8080. But currently no problem because Jenkins is running in one machine, Tomcat is running in the another machine. So once I enable that port number for the Tomcat, now let me access my Tomcat server is working or not. Public IP, copy the public IP, then go to here, colon 8080. Public IP colon 8080. Let us check the Tomcat server is accessible or not. Perfect. I'm able to access admin dashboard of my Tomcat server. Jenkins dashboard I'm able to access, and a Tomcat dashboard also I'm able to access. Jenkins and a Tomcat running in the two different machines with the same port number 8080. Now what I want to do is I want to run my Jenkins job. When I execute my Jenkins job, Jenkins should take the code from the GitHub. Jenkins should deploy that code into Tomcat server. Jenkins will communicate with the GitHub. Jenkins will take the code from the GitHub. Jenkins will communicate with the Maven. Jenkins will build the project by using Maven. Then Jenkins will deploy that code into Tomcat server. So Jenkins and Tomcat both are running in the same machine. Both are running in the different machines. Jenkins is running in one machine. Tomcat is running in another machine. Okay, guys. Now fine. We need to deploy our application into Tomcat server. Before that, let us go for manager app in the Tomcat. Username I configured as admin. Password also I configured as admin. Sign in. So now if you see in the Tomcat server, our application is running currently list of applications. In the Tomcat server, our application is running currently or our application is not running currently. If you see the Tomcat server dashboard, I connected with the manager app in the Tomcat. Our application is running in the Tomcat. Our application is not running in the Tomcat. Our application is not running in the Tomcat. Before starting the Jenkins, we have deployed our applications manually in the Tomcat. Now, do I need to deploy my application manually or the deployment will be taken care by Jenkins? Do I need to deploy my application manually or it will be taken care by Jenkins? Come on, guys. Do I need to deploy this manually or it will be taken care by Jenkins? We need to configure Tomcat with the Jenkins. Okay. Our Tomcat server is ready. Our Tomcat server is ready. Now how to integrate that? Steps to create a Jenkins job with the Git repository plus a Maven plus a Tomcat server. Okay, guys. Before going to do the deployment, if you want to deploy that application into Tomcat server, we need to install one plugin in the Jenkins that is called deploy to container plugin. Deploy to container plugin we need to install. Steps to create Jenkins job with Git repository plus Maven plus Tomcat server. Tomcat server setup document I will give you. So you need to set up the Tomcat. Once the Tomcat setup is completed, install one plugin, because if Jenkins wants to deploy to the Tomcat server, we need a plugin called deploy to container plugin. We need to take a plugin called deploy to container plugin. So that plugin should be installed in the Jenkins. Jenkins will use that plugin in order to communicate with the Tomcat server. Now let us go to our Jenkins, manage Jenkins, manage Jenkins, manage plugins. Here you need to search for the plugins, available plugins. Go to manage Jenkins, go to manage plugins, check for available plugins. In the available plugins, you need to type deploy. So deploy to container. What is the plugin that we need to get, guys? Deploy to container plugin is required. So select this plugin, click on install without restart. Click on install without restart. That plugin is getting installed. Deploy to container plugin is getting installed. Why that plugin? That plugin is required if you want to deploy your application from Jenkins to Tomcat server. Deployment got, plugin installation got success. So once that plugin installation got success, now we need to follow these steps to create the Jenkins job. By using these steps, our Jenkins can deploy the application to Tomcat server. Okay. Create a Jenkins job, enter the job name, freestyle project, source code, Git repository, GitHub account credentials not required, public repository. Go to build tab, add the build step as Maven target, goals, clean package. As of now, we have not given any post build action. Now we need to give our post build action. What is our post build action? Post build action, once our build got successful, I want to deploy that WAR file to Tomcat server. I want to give that WAR file to Tomcat server. Okay, let me create the job again. Git Maven Tomcat integration job. New item. Enter this Git Maven Tomcat job. So in this job, Git will be involved to take the code from the Git repository. Maven will involve to build our Maven project by using clean package goal. Tomcat will involve to run our application. Tomcat is a server, freestyle project. Click on OK. So now this project is used, this job is used to build and deploy our application. Build plus deployment. Taking the code, compiling the code, packaging the code, and deploying the code to the server. Source code management. This is a Git repository. So let us take the Git repository of our application. Git repository URL. We have taken the Git repository URL here. Na? So same Git repository URL we are going to take and we will provide that. No need to configure the credentials. As I told, it is public repository. Branch name is a master. Build trigger, manually I will trigger. Build environment, nothing. Build step, Maven. Execute top level Maven targets. Maven version 3.91. What are the goals? Clean goal and package goal. So once it is done, post build action. Earlier we have not configured. Now we are going to configure post build action. What is my post build action? Deploy WAR file to a container. Earlier we don't have this option. Now we are getting this option because I have installed one plugin called deploy to container plugin. I have installed one plugin called deploy to container plugin. Once you install this plugin, then you will get the option to deploy the WAR file to a container that I am configuring as a post build action. Deploy WAR file to a container. So what is your WAR file? What is the context path? What is your container? All these things we have to specify. WAR file or EAR file. So what is your WAR file? So now give the path of the WAR file */* WAR, or else if you know the WAR file name directly, you can give the name of the WAR file. So what is the WAR file it is creating? In the Jenkins machine, we have seen that. What is the WAR file? ls-l. Here, ls-l, we can see ls space target. So this is the name of the WAR that we are getting. Maven web app.war. Where this WAR available? In the target directory. So you can give the name as target/WAR file. What is the name of the WAR file? We can give. What is the context path? I want to context path as Maven web app. You can give anything as a context path. So where is your WAR file? WAR file will be available in the target directory. What is the name of the WAR file? This is the name of my WAR file. What is the context path? Maven web app is my context path. Container. What is our container? Tomcat server is our container. Tomcat 9.x we have added. Tomcat 9.x we have added. So Tomcat server is available. In this Tomcat server currently, our application is not deployed. So we need to deploy our application to Tomcat server. To deploy our application to Tomcat server, Tomcat is having some credentials. And what is the URL of the Tomcat? Tomcat credentials, Tomcat URL we have to configure. Tomcat credentials, add the Tomcat credentials here, username and password. We have given the username for the Tomcat and we have given password for the Tomcat. Okay, now click on that Tomcat credential. Tomcat server credentials. So let me add this Tomcat server credentials which you have configured. Select those credentials. Then Tomcat URL. What is the URL of the Tomcat? So EC2 VM public IP and Tomcat server port number. So here I have my Tomcat server. Let me copy this URL and let me provide my Tomcat server URL. Okay guys, now click on apply, click on save. So with this I configured my job. You go to configure. This job is used to build and deploy our application. Source code management, I have given my GitHub repository. Build trigger, I have not given anything. Build environment, I have not given anything. Build step, Maven targets I have configured. Post build action, I'm configuring the deployment to a container. So this is my war file. This should be my context path. This is my Tomcat server, in which machine my Tomcat server is running and what are the credentials of the Tomcat. I have given that. Apply and save. So with this our job is created. With this our job is created. Git Maven Tomcat job is created. I want to run this job. So when I run this job, what operation this job has to perform, guys? When I run this job, what operation it has to perform? What operation it has to perform? Take the code from the GitHub, build that code by using Maven, deploy that war file to Tomcat server. Jenkins and Tomcat running in two different machines. Now let's try this. Click on build now. See what will happen. One job is started. Go to the console output. Now deploying war file to the Tomcat server finished with a success status. Now you see console output. You see the console output, building the workspace, cloning the repository, then executing clean package goal. Then here it packaged our application as a war file. Then post build action, attempting to deploy one war file. That war file is deployed to my Tomcat server. Go to Tomcat server and check this. Now can you check here? Maven web application is deployed. Access this Maven web application. Our application is accessible. So I can give this URL for you. You can check in the chat. So this Maven web application is deployed in my Tomcat server. So deployment, build and deployment, am I doing manually or it is doing by my Jenkins machine? Deployment, I'm doing manually or it is taken care by my Jenkins server. Are you able to access the application? Are you able to access the application? Yes. Now we are able to access our application. Now, for example, let us see. Currently, it is displaying the message as welcome to Ashok IT. Currently, it is displaying the message as welcome to Ashok IT. For example, I have modified some code in my GitHub repository. I have modified some code in the GitHub repository. Go to this GitHub repository. Let us make some changes to the code in the project. My GitHub repository is available here. Let me go to my project, index.jsp. In this, instead of giving welcome to Ashok IT, I'm giving welcome to Ashok IT Software Training Institute. Ashok IT Software Training. I change it text from welcome to Ashok IT to welcome to Ashok IT Software Training. Commit the code. I have done latest code. I have committed the latest code in the GitHub. So when I commit the latest code, is it reflecting in the server or it is not reflecting in the server? My latest code is reflecting in the server. My latest code is not reflecting in the server. Not reflecting. So what I need to do now, when the code got modified, what we need to do? When the code got modified, what we need to do? We need to rebuild the job. We need to re-execute the job. Click on build now. I'm running the build second time. Second build I'm running. Now go to the second build. console output. Go to the second build, console output, finished success. Now go here, refresh. Are we able to see the latest changes? Are we able to see the latest changes? So how much time it is taking to build and deploy my project now? DevOps people, earlier we have done the deployment manually in the Tomcat server. Now do I need to do that manual deployment or it is automated? It is automated. Can I show you real CI/CD deployment? Can I show you real CI/CD deployment? So you no need to run the job. You no need to run the job. If the code is modified in the GitHub, automatically the Jenkins job should trigger. If you modify the code, Jenkins job should trigger automatically. Can we configure that? Can we configure automatic deployments? Yes. Now go to our Jenkins job. So as of now, what is happening? When I change some code, I need to run the job manually. This is a manual deployment. When I change the code, I need to run the job manually. But what I want to do is, I want to run my job when code modified in the GitHub. Okay, go to configure. Here, build trigger option is available. In the build trigger, configure poll SCM, give 5 stars. Give 5 stars. Now I have given poll SCM with 5 stars. What is the meaning of poll SCM with 5 stars? It is used to check. It is used to check every minute with Git repository. Is there any code change available? Is there any code change available? Here in the build trigger, there are 2 options. Build periodically available. In the build periodically option, if I give 5 stars, for every minute, it will execute the job. I don't want to execute my job every minute. I want to execute my job when there is a code change in the GitHub. I want to execute my job when there is a code change in the GitHub. Okay, guys, for that I'm configuring poll SCM. Click on apply, click on save. So in my job, I configured poll SCM. Now see, 2 builds I have executed manually. Now go back here to the GitHub repository, edit this file. Welcome to Ashoka IT Software Training Institute. So earlier institute word is not available. Now I have added that word. Then commit our code. I have done the code commit in the GitHub. Now go to Jenkins and verify the behavior of the Jenkins. I will not do anything. Let us just wait. And access our application currently. It is displaying up to software training. I made my code changes to display software training institute. Right. Now refresh. So software training available. 2 jobs we have executed manually. Now let us verify. 3rd job will trigger automatically or not. I have done the code changes. For every 1 minute, my Jenkins server will connect with the GitHub repository to verify code changes happened or not. Now you see the 3rd job is triggered automatically. The 3rd build triggered automatically. Did I run that job or automatically it got triggered? 3rd build. Did I trigger the 3rd build or automatically it got triggered? Automatically it got triggered. Now go to the project and refresh. Latest code is deployed. Latest code is deployed. Can I say continuous integration, continuous deployment is happening? If you modify the code, automatically job will trigger. Within 1 minute, the job will be triggered. Again, can I make the code change? Now, how many jobs are triggered now? How many times the job is triggered? 3 times my job is triggered. Build number 1, build number 2, I have triggered manually by using build now option. I have triggered that by using build now option. Build number 3 automatically triggered because of poll SCM. Again, let me go to this and let me make some code changes in the GitHub repository. Edit this. Edit this. Now, here, welcome to Ashoka IT. Remove this text which I have added. Whatever the text I have added, I have removed. Now it should come as only welcome to Ashoka IT. So now click on commit changes. Now I have committed my changes in the GitHub. Go to Jenkins and verify. Build number 4 will be coming automatically because code modified in the GitHub. Once the code is modified in the GitHub, Jenkins will trigger the job. That means I have configured poll SCM. For every 1 minute, my Jenkins server will connect with the GitHub to verify any commits happen. If any commit happen, automatically job will trigger. If there is no commit, job will not trigger. Now let us see. It will take 1 minute for that because of that schedule. Now see, bill number 4 is started. See here, bill number 4 started. Bill number 4. Because commit happened in the GitHub. Bill number 4 completed successfully. Refresh our project. Yes, latest code is deployed. So are we able to achieve CI/CD now? Are we able to achieve CI/CD now? Continuous integration. Do you need to trigger the builds manually, or you can automate the build trigger by using Jenkins? We can automate the build trigger by using Jenkins. We need to automate the build trigger by using Jenkins. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Yeah, so this is the job that we have created. We have a GitHub repository and we have Jenkins in one machine and we configured Maven and we have configured Tomcat in another machine. So I have created a job in the Jenkins. Whenever I trigger my Jenkins job, it is taking the code from the GitHub repository. It is communicating with the Maven to build that code. Then it is communicating with the Tomcat to deploy that code. So for DevOps people, already you know how to set up the Tomcat server. The new people who are attending Docker and Kubernetes, you people need to set up the Tomcat server in the Linux machine. I will give you the document to set up the Tomcat server. So you need to configure Tomcat server details. Where I am configuring the Tomcat server details, once the Tomcat server setup is completed, in the post build action, we are configuring. What is the war file name of our project? What is the context path? Tomcat server credentials. So we have configured the credentials for the Tomcat server, those credentials and Tomcat URL we need to enter. So then apply save. Then when you run the job, application should be deployed into Tomcat server. If you go to Tomcat server dashboard, your application should be displayed here. Clear, guys? 5 stars. For every star, you need to give the space. Whenever you are giving the 5 stars, for every star, you need to give a space. That means every 1 minute. If I give build periodically with the 5 stars, every minute build will trigger. I don't want to trigger every minute. Every minute, it will check with the GitHub. When I go for poll SCM, if there is any commit, then it will trigger the build. Poll SCM with the 5 stars. Every minute, it will check with the GitHub. If there is any commit, then only build will trigger. Otherwise, build will not trigger. Now see, I have not committed anything now. I have not committed anything. When I don't commit anything, then what will happen? Build will not be triggered. See, after 4th one, 5th one is not coming. The reason, code is not committed. If code is committed, then only it will come. Yes, fine. So you, instead of every 1 minute, you can configure for every 1 hour. You can configure for every 30 minutes also. The cron expressions we have to write for that. In the build triggers, I have given 5 star. Okay. So when you say here, perhaps you meant H2 poll for once per hour. So if you want to make it for every 1 hour, instead of the first star, if you keep H. If you keep it H, then what will happen? For every 1 hour, it is going to trigger. It is going to check with the GitHub. Is there any code committed? If a code is committed, then it will trigger. Every 1 hour, it will check. If you want for every 30 minutes, hour by 30. For every 30 minutes, it is going to check that. Are you guys clear? See, 2:32 last time my build happened. The next build will be happening at the 3 o'clock. H by 30 means every 30 minutes. If you give H, that means for every 1 hour. 2:32 build happened. Next build will happen at the 3:32. So like this, if you configure H every 1 hour, H by 30, H by 30. That means for every 30 minutes. 2:32 our last build happened. At 3 o'clock, it is going to check that. If you give H by 5, H by 5, 2:52 it happened, 2:57 it will happen once again. H by 5 means for every 5 minutes. H by 10 means for every 10 minutes. H by 30 means for every 30 minutes. H means for every 1 hour. Like this, you can configure your cron expressions. Like this, you can configure your cron expressions. Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear with my point? Yeah. Now, anybody having any questions, you can ask me. I want you people to complete this job setup today. Jenkins with Maven and Tomcat.
Ashok, if we are giving H by 30 over here, so do we need to select all FVM or build automatically? Because all FVM only works when the commit.
Let's understand. No. If you give build periodically with the H by 30, for every 30 minutes, it will execute the build without checking the code is committed or not. You got my point?
Yes.
Build periodically means whether code changed or not changed, it will not check that. For every 30 minutes, it is going to trigger that build. Poll SCM means for every 30 minutes, it will check that code is modified or not. Code is modified, then only it will trigger.
Now, Ashok, one more doubt. Is it possible to set up the Jenkins and Tomcat in the same instance? If
you can set up that, but that is not recommended because Jenkins is already heavyweight machine because of the UI. If you set up the Tomcat also in that machine, user request will come to Tomcat. That will become burden on the machine. In the real time, we don't do that.
So Ashok, but just one more thing. Can you please show that how it is possible to manually we have set up Apache Tomcat. So how we can set it to the Docker?
That is different. That is different story. We'll come to that Docker later point of time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, come on, guys. Next questions.
So Ashok, what were the jar builds, and it will check in into the Nexus repository as well from this one?
Yes, we can integrate Jenkins with the Nexus repository also to store our war file to the Nexus.
Okay, so we can deploy on Docker.
Correct.
And we can do everything from
yes,
here.
We can integrate in coming classes. I'm going to integrate Jenkins with the Docker and Kubernetes as well. Jenkins will take the code from GitHub. Jenkins will package the code using Maven. Jenkins will upload that war file to the Nexus. Jenkins will build a Docker image. Jenkins will deploy the Docker image into Kubernetes. Everything we will understand practically. So it is in the starting stage, right? We have created one build for build and deployment. Now I am showing how to run our application with the Tomcat server. If the project does not have Docker and Kubernetes, this is the approach they will follow.
All right. This was the basic project.
Yeah, basic, right. In the coming classes, we'll see how to build a Docker image, how to deploy to Kubernetes cluster from Jenkins directly.
Understood.
Yeah, guys. So the DevOps people already, how to set up the Tomcat server so that you can easily practice it. The people who are attending only Docker and Kubernetes classes, they don't know how to set up the Tomcat in the Linux. I will give the document for you to set up the Tomcat.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
So, sir, previously we had set up that Tomcat server, right, when we did manually.
Yeah, same server you can
use. We are still having that server, so we can just start that server and do that.
You can just start the server and you can use that. No issue.
We don't need to rebuild that server, right?
No, not required. If you already have the Tomcat server previously, which we have practiced, same server you can use.
Okay.
Some people who joined only for Docker and Kubernetes Jenkins classes, they don't have the Tomcat server. They need to set up the Tomcat.
Yes, sir.
So Ashok, in the real time, how we will access the Jenkins? In the same way, like EC2 instance URL, then colon 8080.
Yes. Right.
Okay.
Ashok, instead of creating the jobs, there we are giving the Git credentials and all now. So every time we creating the new job, in that time we need to give the GitHub credentials, or is there any authorized thing with the one time?
One time only we can do that. I will tell you that how to configure the global credentials.
Okay. And as you had been shown that CA and CD integration, continuous deployment. So before this, is there any PR builds like that part?
PR builds means, this we will do in the dev environment. Pull request that will be available. Yes, it can be done.
And with respect to this, there is a mail triggering also. No? Is there any build has been failed that that technically
email notifications we can configure.
Okay. And one thing that I need to ask you is, so the developers will change the connection strings like database names or database URLs like that, but they will change. And coming to the builds, they will tell like, please make it as in a variable, so we are not going to place it in a
Dynamic
code.
build parameters concept will be available next coming classes.
Okay.
So whatever the branch name that you want to give, I don't want to hard code the branch name. So I can pass that as a build parameter. Dynamically, whenever you are triggering the build, it will ask to pass the build parameters.
Okay. And coming to the jobs here, once the code has been changed by the automatic trigger, the job is running and it's going to be deploying to the and the artifact is going to deploying in the Tomcat. So is there any versioning like that part? So 1.0,
Yes, in the Nexus
1.2?
versioning will be available. That versioning we will change in the pom.xml file.
Okay. Then, yep,
Versioning
got
will be there that in the coming class. This is the best basic job I have shown you. So a lot more things we need to learn in the Jenkins.
Okay, I hope on the coming classes it has been going to show up everything.
Yes, right.
By
So this is just a basic job to demonstrate how to build and deploy automatically.
Yep. Yes,
Ashok,
got
one
it, got
question.
it.
Hello, sir. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Shivarit.
Hi.
Is it possible to write the Jenkins file?
Pipeline also will come, sir. Pipeline is the most important part in the Jenkins.
Okay.
So currently, I told you that, right? Two ways we can create the jobs in the Jenkins. One is freestyle, second one is pipeline. Currently, we are
Okay.
practicing freestyle. So
Okay.
upcoming classes, we'll see pipelines.
Okay, so Ashok, for development, the developer is used to use this one. I mean, they're developing, and this is continuously deploying the application on dev environment. And what about the production? So it will,
Production,
the same.
no. Production will not happen automatically, sir. For production, there is a process. We'll discuss that.
Okay, so this is for only development. Once
Dev
development
environment and QA environment. Yeah.
all right. So once the image is created and is checked into the Nexus repository, then the deployment in production is happened from that place, right? From
Correct.
Nexus repository.
Production deployment is very different process, sir. We will discuss that in the coming classes. Production deployment will not happen automatically like this. There will be a checklist. There will be a release call. Lot of approvals are required. Then only it will go to production.
Okay.
Sir, when we develop application, let's say there are 2 or 3 developers, they have their own respective modules. So they will commit their code, which is allotted to them, and they will commit it, right, sir?
Correct.
So only at the end of, once the whole application is ready, we have to commit. Before that, we should not commit, right, sir?
So that is depends on project to project, sir. That is depends on project to project. Now, suppose if you want to do that, then you should not configure pole SCCM. Then there should be manual deployment process. So DevOps engineers only should run the job by using build now. If you don't want to configure that automation, that should be a manual deployment.
Okay. Okay.
Ashok, is the jobs will be run on multiple, or once the first job is running, the next job we will be running on the queue mode like that part?
We will see how to run the multiple jobs also.
Okay. Yep.
There is a concept called master slave configuration in the Jenkins.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. So got it.
Hi, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Sir, suppose we have two jobs, and if one job is triggered and is completed, and it should trigger another job. How can we do that, sir? It was asked in the
Yeah, we'll do that, sir. That is called upstream, downstream jobs will be available. We'll discuss on that.
Okay, sir. And one more thing. Suppose if a developer pushes the code to GitHub, made some changes in the code. So we are using poll SCM that is triggering every 1 minute. But how can we set up that? Like if anything is changed in the code, it just the build happens automatically.
Yeah, that is what poll SCM. It will trigger automatically when there is a code change.
Okay. No,
If you
I
don't
want
want
just not in every minute. Just when the developer pushes the code, then only it should trigger the job.
Yes. So poll SCM, if you configure, it will keep on checking with the GitHub. If the code modified, then only it will trigger. That is what we configured with the poll SCM. Poll SCM, I configured 5 stars. Every minute it will check, but it will not deploy. Every minute it will check. If the code is modified, then only it will deploy. Otherwise, it will not deploy. So whatever you are asking, that we are configured with the poll SCM today. That is what we have done.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
So Ashok, we are following any approach like suppose since it is suppose I have configured like every minute is pull the code from the Git and deploy it. Suppose any developer check in a few files, but few files are not checked in. So definitely it will start giving error or build fail. So
yes, that's why we don't configure every minute. We'll configure every hour.
Every hour. So we have to make sure like I mean we have to specify like at this maybe 11 a.m. the first will.
Yes, we'll configure scheduled builds. At 11 a.m. we'll trigger the build. Before 11 a.m. everybody should complete their coding part.
So we have to update the team like just check in every code before that time, maybe
correct.
5 minutes before, just complete all the things so that all the code should be updated over there.
Perfect, guys. Thank you. So please practice this. I will upload the document and tomorrow we'll continue.